What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G. Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the October 22nd, 2022 edition of the SmackDown LowDown. SmackDown on Friday I thought was overall a decent show. Not a great show. A solid, enjoyable show for the most part. Not as strong as the SmackDown from last week or the week prior, but overall a decent show. I did break it down in its entirety in my SmackDown audio review from early Saturday here on the channel, so check that out, and in the written form over at WrestleRant.com. But as far as the SmackDown LowDown goes, the show kicks off with Jackie Redmond, Matt Camp in the studio, running down the biggest headlines from SmackDown on Friday, including the Liv Morgan-Sonya Deville matchup, which ended in a double countout. Megan Moran catches up with Liv backstage, and Liv simply says that she has never felt more alive. And that was it. So, very brief interview. She's clearly going deeper and deeper, or rather going more and more off into the deep end here, is Liv, or whatever the fuck the expression is. She's clearly losing her marbles, so she's doing a good job with the character. I still don't like how she comes across in her promo sometimes, but it makes more sense how she talks, and it's just a small thing. It's not that big of a deal. It fits more of this crazier character she's currently doing than whatever she was doing as champion before Extreme Rules. So she's doing a decent job with whatever she's doing right now, so I will say that much. And Matt Camp even questions, is this the place that Liv Morgan always needed to go to following her many setbacks and highs and lows throughout 2022? He even references, aside from her entire reign as SmackDown Women's Champion, she lost to Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship back at day one on the first day of 2022. And he didn't mention this, but she was also betrayed by Rhea Ripley coming out of WrestleMania. So she really has had a lot of highs and lows in 2022, and she may have just reached her breaking point, really. They preview the Drew McIntyre Karrion Kross Steel Cage match. Matt Camp says that Drew will always give, he always gives every chapter a definitive ending. This will be no different come Crown Jewel in that match. They replay the Bray Wyatt promo, as well as the Uncle Howdy response, or whatever that was supposed to be later on in the show. They have no idea what to make of this. They discussed the different Bray Wyatt that we got on this show compared to the Bray that we saw last week on SmackDown. Matt Camp even referenced that if you go to the QR code they showed here or that second promo that aired during SmackDown, it takes you to a psychiatric evaluation of Bray Wyatt. Now, I think Matt Camp fucked up here because he said it's a 35-year-old psychiatric evaluation from 35 years ago, which is not true. I'm pretty sure, obviously what he's referring to is that it says May 23rd, 1987 or whatever on the evaluation. That's when he was born. So I don't think he realized that when he went to the QR code. I don't think they did an evaluation of Bray Wyatt the day he was born. I think that was merely when he was born, and this was an evaluation from the last couple of years or within the last year or whatever it might have been. I thought that was really cool the way they did that. And not Matt Camp fucking up, but we all make mistakes. So from there, they recap the WWE Women's Tag Team title match from SmackDown. That's Dakota Kai and Io Sky retain the tag team titles against Raquel Rodriguez and Shotzi. Damage Control once again on the SmackDown LowDown. They are so fucking overexposed at this point. I love Bayley. I really like Dakota and Io. I think they're great. They're a great trio. The act has been okay so far. They've been booked better lately. But, they're always on Raw and SmackDown every fucking week, which I know they're the tag team champions. They kind of have to be. But, even on Raw the SmackDown LowDown, they're on almost every fucking week. And they really don't have a lot to say at this point. They're just repeating the same stuff week after week. Bayley mentions that, because Megan goes, oh, you got involved inadvertently or advertently, whatever. And Bayley says, listen, the only reason why I got involved was because Shotzi punched me in the mouth. That's why. And Dakota Kai says they will continue to dominate the women's tag team division. That was really about it. So a completely pointless promo here from Damage Control, who we've heard way too much from on both SmackDown LowDown and Raw Talk. You can't go a week without having either having either Raw Talk or SmackDown LowDown feature an appearance from these three women. So again, they're great, but they're always on the show, and they really don't offer a lot. So I really would hope they do not put them on the show as much as they have been lately. Back in the studio, they recap Rey Mysterio versus Ludwig Kaiser. Mysterio's win over him. Rey Mysterio says, when interviewed by Megan Morant backstage, that it feels like he never left SmackDown, being a SmackDown guy, having really had his career kick off on SmackDown in WWE 20 years ago. And then he just merely plans on becoming Intercontinental Champion by beating Gunther in 2 weeks on SmackDown. So again, nothing really of note, pretty generic stuff here from Ray, but it was great to have Ray on the show nonetheless. At least he's not on every week, a lot like Damage Control. So when he says generic stuff, I'm okay with that because we don't see Ray every week here on the show. Matt Camp makes mention of the fact that this match will not be different for Ray and that Ray has faced a lot larger opponents before, whether it be Great Khali, Mark Henry, Big Show, even as recently as, not recently, but like The Undertaker, for example. He's a much bigger opponent. He feuded with him over 10 years ago, so Gunther will be no exception. For Gunther, Ray is a bit of a different opponent. Gunther did face Ricochet earlier this year. They had a great clash of styles. Ray, to defend Ricochet here, no offense to Ricochet, Ray is one of the greatest of all time. Ricochet is not. Ricochet is great, but in WWE, Rey Mysterio is one of the greatest of all time. So Ray is no Ricochet. Ricochet is no Ray. Ray will pose a much bigger threat to that championship than Ricochet ever did during their mini feud earlier this year. But he says that Ray just has to be 3 seconds better than Gunther, and we'll see in 2 weeks when they collide. So to wind down here, they replay the closing segment that saw Logan Paul get the better of Jey Uso and Sami Zayn. Jackie says that Logan Paul has momentum coming out of that segment, but Matt Camp reinforces that the Bloodline always have a plan. And then to close it out, they promote Halloween Havoc, which was last night. So kind of a middle-of-the-road show here. Really nothing of note here. I did appreciate they did not waste time on a special guest analyst. I don't think they did that with Raw this week, and they again did not do it this week for SmackDown LowDown. I assume it's only a 1 week thing. They'll be back to featuring Peter Rosenberg and people like that on next week's show. I mean, it was a nice change of pace initially, but they really have come to offer nothing. And if it makes the show only longer, then no thanks. And they really just aren't that good anyway. So, I mean, in spewing the WWE corporate bullshit or like the storyline crap, I get it. It doesn't really make for that much better or worse of a show. But if it wastes time, then no thanks. Without the special guest analyst, the shows are shorter. And this was a pretty straightforward show. Was this edition of SmackDown LowDown. We got to hear from Damage Control, Liv very fucking briefly, and Ray. None of them really had anything of note to say, but it was a fine episode nonetheless. Thank you guys for checking out my review. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. I will be away this coming week in California, which I'm looking forward to. I'm hoping to stick to the schedule for the most part as far as daily uploads. The Raw Talk review might be delayed. I'm not exactly sure yet. Probably. Hashtag will go up on Wednesday. And Thursday, we'll have a video per usual. Tomorrow, we should have a video up. Tuesday's the only question mark, but keep an eye out for that nonetheless. Have a great one, guys. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.